Part 1: From Zero to Financial Freedom. If you had $10 million before turning 30, would you quit working? Would you disappear to some remote beach, sip cold drinks, and watch your life fade into early retirement? Most people say yes, but those who actually get there usually don't. Because financial freedom isn't about the money. It's about control. Control over your time. Control over your choices. Control over your future. And that control doesn't come from hitting a magic number in your bank account. It comes from building something that works without you. It comes from developing a mindset that can't be shaken. It comes from waking up and knowing your income is no longer tied to how many hours you work. This isn't a motivational speech. It's a system, a framework that has been tested in the real world, by entrepreneurs, by investors, by people who started with nothing, people who walked away from the comfort of a stable. You're not going to hear fluff or hype in this video, just real stories, real steps, real strategy. This is for people who want to create wealth that lasts, not just make money. This is for people who want to stop guessing and start building. For those who know that someday isn't a plan, and that waiting won't create freedom. The game has changed. You don't need millions to start. You don't need credentials. You don't need luck. You need clarity. You need consistency. You need leverage. And you need to start now. We are breaking it all down step by step. The mindset, the skills, the strategy, and the habits. Everything you need to go from zero to financial freedom on purpose. Stay sharp. Think for yourself. Part 2: Building a strong inner game. Before you build wealth, you have to build belief. Your outer results are a reflection of your inner story. If you believe you're poor, you'll always find evidence to stay that way. You'll say things like money doesn't matter. You'll avoid risk. You'll cling to safety and call it happiness. Even when opportunities show up, you'll talk yourself out of them. Because deep down, you've already decided you're not meant to win. Changing your bank account starts with changing that decision, not with motivation, with identity. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your patterns. And most people are stuck in the pattern of survival. Wake up, go to work, pay the bills, repeat. The cycle feels safe, but it's a trap. Because one day you look up and realize you built someone else's dream, not yours. So you have to break the pattern. You have to choose growth over comfort. You have to start seeing yourself as someone who earns because they create value, not because they trade hours. Someone who walks away from what's easy because they are focused on what's possible. That shift isn't about confidence. It's about conviction. Conviction that your future is your responsibility. Conviction that comfort is a lie. Conviction that no job can ever give you real security. Ka-shing understood this early. He walked away from high positions, turned down safety, started from scratch, again and again, not because he hated jobs, because he saw the ceiling. He realized the price of stability was freedom, and he wasn't willing to pay it. Most people never even consider that option. They stay stuck, not because they lack talent, but because they lack belief. They believe quitting is failure. They believe dreaming is dangerous. They believe wealth is reserved for others, and they act accordingly. If you want different results, you need a different mindset. A mindset that says, I solve problems and get paid well to do it. A mindset that says, I don't need permission to build something valuable. That's where it starts. Inside. Strong beliefs, clear identity, unshakable confidence, even when nobody else gets it, even when nothing is guaranteed. even when starting over feels like the only option, because that mindset will carry you when nothing else can. And once you lock it in, everything changes. You stop waiting. You start acting. You stop blaming. You start building. You stop settling. You start growing. Most people spend their lives defending their limitations. You need to spend yours destroying them. Let them cling to excuse. Part 3, Mental Strength in Action. A strong mindset isn't just theory. It's action. It's how you respond when everything is uncertain. When the safe choice is easy, but the right choice is scary. That's when real growth begins. Ka-shing didn't just think differently. He acted on it. He quit jobs that others would kill for. He gave up titles and paychecks to chase possibility. He started over when it didn't make sense to anyone else, because he trusted himself more than he trusted the system. Most people wait for approval. He didn't. He bet on himself again and again. That's what mental strength looks like. Not motivation, not hype, just clarity and execution. He didn't just dream big. He backed it up with bold moves. He wasn't afraid to burn the bridge behind him. He had no interest in a backup plan. He knew the only way to build something new was to let go of the old. That takes courage. Not the kind you post about. The kind it's easy to look brave when things are working. It's harder when you've quit your job, emptied your bank account, and still have no guarantee. That's where strength shows up. That's where belief becomes real. It's not about recklessness. It's about trust. Trusting your ability to learn, to adapt, to figure it out, to find a way. Because the moment you believe that, quitting isn't scary. It's strategic. It's a step toward something better. And every time you do it, your confidence grows. Not because it worked, but because you did it anyway. And that's what separates builders from dreamers. Dreamers talk. Builders leap. They build the parachute on the way down. They learn fast because they have to. They keep moving because comfort isn't an option. They aren't fearless. They just choose to act anyway, because the pain of staying stuck is greater than the risk of trying. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be committed. You need to take the next step. Quitting isn't weakness. It's a decision. It's the line you draw between the life you have and the one you want. It's what turns intentions into action. And that's how freedom starts. Do you? Part 4, Why working hard does not mean getting rich. Hard work is not the problem. Working hard at the wrong thing is. You can work 10 hours a day for 40 years and still retire broke. Because time does not create wealth. Leverage does. Employees trade time for money. Entrepreneurs trade ideas for money. Investors trade money for more money. If you want freedom, you need to stop selling time. You need to start building something that works without you. That's the shift. Most people work for stability, but stability is a cage, a safe, predictable, padded cage, where nothing grows, where dreams go to die, and you start convincing yourself that it's okay to settle. It's not. You weren't meant to survive the system. You were meant to outgrow it. At some point, you have to choose. Comfort or growth? You can't have both. Comfort keeps you where you are. Growth takes you where you want to go. That's why staying in a job forever doesn't work. You can be but your income still depends on someone else. Your time still belongs to them. Your future is still decided by someone else's approval. That's not freedom. That's dependency. Ka-shing understood this early. He worked jobs, but he never got stuck in them. He used them to learn, to observe, to gather knowledge, not to build a career. He worked part-time, sold watches, studied logistics, observed leaders, then left. Every job was a stepping stone, not a destination. That's the mindset. Don't stay in a place that no longer serves your growth. Don't hold on to a role just because it's easy. Use it, learn from it, then move on. When you stop working just for money, you start building wealth, because wealth isn't built with hours. It's built with ownership. You don't need more overtime. You need more assets. You don't need a promotion. You need a product. You don't need a manager. You need a mission. Stop waiting for raises. That's the difference between building your dream and build. Part 5, Power of Deep Knowledge. Money follows value. Value comes from knowledge, not random facts, not surface-level learning, deep, focused knowledge. The kind that makes you irreplaceable. The kind that solves real problems. The kind that turns into income. Ka-shing called it stealing knowledge, not copying. Stealing, because he didn't wait for permission to learn. He hunted for it. He read during taxi rides. He skipped parties to study. He didn't waste time scrolling. He used every minute to get sharper. He knew that time was either invested or wasted, and he chose to invest it. Every day, he read deeply, not widely. He didn't chase trends. He mastered his industry. He filtered what mattered and doubled down. That's how you stay ahead. Most people skim. They read headlines, watch clips, scroll endlessly, but never go deep. That's why they stay stuck. Because general knowledge is cheap. Deep knowledge is valuable, and people pay for value. Master it. Read everything about it. Study what works. Take notes. Apply fast. Ignore distractions. Learn like your future depends on it. Because it does. Nobody gets rich from random information. They get rich from useful knowledge, applied with urgency. You don't need to be the smartest, just the most focused. Pick one problem. Solve it better than anyone else. Charge for it. Repeat. That's how you create leverage. That's how you build something people pay for. And that's how you stop competing. The world rewards people who go deep, not wide. Don't chase everything. Own something. One skill, one offer, one niche, and go all in. Depth beats speed. Mastery beats noise. Knowledge isn't power. Part 6, The Competitive Advantage of Self-Education. Self-education builds freedom. It moves faster than any degree. It costs less than any classroom, and it puts control back in your hands. Ka-shing didn't wait for formal training. He trained himself. He studied his competitors. He reverse-engineered success. He read every book in his field. He traveled to learn from the best. He went straight to the source. He found what worked and made it his own. That's how you win. By choosing to learn what matters. By going deeper than the average person. By applying what you learn faster than others do. Most people stop learning after school. That's why they stop growing. They think the real world rewards diplomas. It doesn't. It rewards results. You get paid based on the problems you solve, not the grades you earned, not the hours you worked, not the titles you hold. If you want to raise your income, raise your skill set. Not someday, today. Find your weak spot. Don't guess. Study, practice, build, then repeat. That's how mastery is built. One focused learning sprint at a time. When Ka-shing saw that sales was a weak link, he got a job selling building materials. He didn't need the money. He needed the experience. And he got it fast. He watched the best salespeople. He practiced their words. He learned what made people buy, and he used it to grow his own business later. That's self-education. Intentional, tactical, purposeful. You learn to earn. You don't learn to impress. That's how freedom is built. By turning every experience into a lesson. By taking full ownership of your growth. By refusing to stay average. You don't need credentials to win. You need skills. You need proof. And you need to keep Part 7, Obsessive Learning and Digital Leverage. We're living in the best time to build wealth from nothing. You don't need factories. You don't need a big team. You don't need a physical store. You need a phone, a laptop, and knowledge. That's leverage. And it's everywhere. The internet erased the old rules. You can reach the world with one post. You can sell with one click. You can build an audience with no budget. That's what makes this era different. Low cost, high speed, unlimited scale. Before, starting a business meant renting space, buying inventory, hiring staff. Now you can launch in a day, from your bedroom, without loans, without investors, without permission. Ka-shing saw this coming. He said the digital age rewards those who adapt. He studied trends. He spotted opportunities early. And he moved fast. He didn't cling to tradition. He chased what worked. That's why he stayed ahead. He treated every shift in the market. You need to do the same. Use digital platforms to amplify what you know. Sell your skills. Share your story. Build your product. Teach your process. Whatever you've mastered, package it. Then distribute it at scale. That's digital leverage. It multiplies your time. It turns one effort into many outcomes. Write once, sell thousands. Record once, reach millions. Create once, earn forever. That's how real freedom is built. Not by working more, by multiplying what works. Every video, every post, every product, every client. Each one becomes an asset, not just a task. That's how you escape the time trap. You stop chasing hours and start stacking leverage. The cost of entry has never been lower, but the rewards have never been higher. You don't need more tools. You need to use the ones you already have. Focus, create, repeat. This is the moment. The system is open. The gatekeepers are gone. Part 8, Chasing Purpose, not just paychecks. Money is not the mission. Purpose is. If you build just for income, you'll burn out. If you build for impact, you'll keep going. Even when it's hard. Even when no one claps. Even when you don't feel like it. Ka-shing didn't keep working into his 90s for more money. He worked because he saw business as service. He felt responsible to his team, to his customers, to his community. That's what kept him sharp. That's what gave him energy. That's what made him unstoppable. Purpose creates discipline. It keeps you moving when the results are slow. It keeps you humble when the results are big. It keeps you grounded when the world gets noisy. Without it, you chase shiny things. With it, you stay focused. You stop asking, how do I make more? You start asking, who do I help? What problem do I solve? What legacy am I building? That shift changes everything. It changes how you work, how you think, how you live. You start creating value. You stop selling just to sell. You start serving with intent. That's when the game changes. That's when the real money shows up. Because people trust builders with purpose. Not just products, not just pitches. Real purpose shines through. In the work, in the message, in the brand. When you have purpose, your work becomes a reflection of who you are, not just what you do. And that's what creates loyalty. That's what builds movements. That's what separates noise from meaning. Build something you believe in. Put your name on it. Stand behind it and show up for it, not because you have to, because you choose to. Because Part 9, the role of role models. Success leaves clues, but most people ignore them. They try to figure everything out alone. That's slow, that's hard, and it's unnecessary. You don't need to reinvent the path. You need to find someone who's already walked it. Study their moves. Copy their thinking. Watch how they act under pressure. See how they handle setbacks. Then apply it. That's not cheating. That's modeling. It's how humans learn. You did it as a kid. You copied your parents. You copied your friends. You copied your teachers. That's how language happens. That's how habits form. Now use it with intention. Choose your role models carefully. Pick someone who shares your values. Pick someone who built from where you are. Pick someone whose results match your goals. Then go deep. Watch every interview. Read their books. Analyze their routines. Understand their mindset, not just what they did, why they did it, how they saw the world, because that's where the power is, in the thinking behind the doing. Like Ka-shing modeled leaders he respected. He learned from their decisions. He adapted their strategies. He didn't just admire them. He studied them. That's the move. Turn admiration into action. Don't just be inspired. Be intentional. Use their story to sharpen yours. Let their clarity become your compass. Let their journey shorten yours. This isn't about copying blindly. It's about learning quickly. Steal the structure. Adapt the system. Then make it yours. Every role model is a mirror. They show you what's possible and remind you that you're capable. Part 10, the power of dreams and identity. Dreams are not childish. They are direction. They tell you who you are becoming. They give your effort a purpose. Without dreams, work feels empty. With them, every step feels like progress. Like Ka-shing had a dream as a child. He wanted to be a ship captain, to sail across oceans, to lead something big. He never became a literal captain, but he built companies like ships. He led teams like crews. He steered industries like seas. That dream shaped his identity, and identity drives action. You act based on who you believe you are. If you see yourself as small, you play small. If you see yourself as capable, you build big. That's why dreams matter. They expand your sense of self. They remind you what's possible. And they keep you moving, even when it's hard, even when it's slow, even when nobody understands. Your identity is not fixed. You choose it. You build it. You reinforce it with every decision, every failure you grow from. If you want to be a builder, act like one. If you want to be an investor, think like one. If you want to be free, live like you already are. Not recklessly, but intentionally. Every small action becomes a vote for your future self. Every disciplined day becomes proof that you're becoming who you say you are. And it all starts with a dream, a picture of the life you're building. Not just the money, the values, the impact, the peace, the control. Let that vision pull you forward. Let it shape your choices. Let it fuel your identity. Because when your actions align with your identity, momentum becomes automatic. You stop forcing progress. You don't need permission to build your freedom. You don't need to be born rich. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You have everything you need to start right now. A strong mind, a clear mission, the tools to learn, and the courage to act. What you build is up to you. But never forget this: freedom is earned. It's not given. It's created through choice, not chance. Every decision you make is either moving you closer to it or further away. So choose with intention. Choose growth. Choose responsibility. Choose the path that leads to ownership, control, and purpose. And if this video helped you think differently, do something with it. Like this video. Subscribe to The Passive Path. Drop a comment with the one insight that hit you hardest. And share this with someone you care about, someone who needs this message today. There's more on the channel waiting for you. More tools, more strategies, more steps you can take. And I'll see you in the next video.